This may humbly request you to share our speaker today of greatest inspiration so that they may share the most of their knowledge, heart, and soul to their respective topics. May we also observe the valuable knowledge, experience, and put into practice what we may learn today. We pray together that you may bless in charge, that they may be able to fulfill the task responsibility. This we ask in your most precious name, O Lord. Amen.
Now I call upon Mr. Janathan sir to welcome and introduce the resource person.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good afternoon, sir.
Very good afternoon, sir. I'm Janathanam, Department of Commerce. On behalf of Patrician College of Arts and Science, a warm welcome and introduce of our chief guest today, Dr. Kumaresan. Dr. Kumaresan, sir, is qualified in MCOM, MSc Psychology, MBA, and MA English. Sir completed MPhil and PhD in Commerce. Sir qualified in state level eligibility test in the year of 2000. Sir completed in Chartered Accountancy intermediate examination and qualified in one group for final examinations. He is an eminent academician and popularly known as Simplicity. Sir's specialization is financial management and marketing management. His academic service, nearly 3 decades of service, rendered in a teaching fraternity. Sir having career in as a lecturer by proactive and dedicated service in reputed colleges. He was relevant and served in as the principal for 4 years. He has served as a Senate member of Periyar University, Salem. He has acted as the external examiner for the conduct of PhD public 5 hours examination for 24 candidates. He has acted as a resource person for the refresher course, set conference, workshop, FTP for the following Indian and foreign universities: Vellore Institute of Technology, Vellore, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Ramavaram, and UGC Malviya Mission Teachers Training Center, Madurai Kamaraj University, South Eastern University of Sri Lanka, Periyar University Center for Postgraduate and Research Studies, and then Alagappa University, St. Joseph University, Amit University, Sharda University, Veltech, Rangarajan and Sakatra universities. He has been a resource person for more than 100 international and national conferences and seminars, more than 200 webinars. He is a research person, more than 10 workshops on artificial intelligence. Yes. And then more than 30 net and set coachings for paper 1 and 2. His research activities are, he has guided 5 PhD scholars and 22 MPhil scholars. He has supported more than 140 scholars for getting PhD degree. So it's a really great, sir. He is proficient in performing data analysis with SPSS, AMOS, and has conducted over 300 workshops, FDP, on research methodology and data analyzing using SPSS in reputed universities and colleges in various states of the country. He has published 2 books and more than 44 papers, articles in referred journals, edited books. He has acted as a social scientist of the International Review Board and Ethical Committee conducted by Best Dental Science College, Madurai. He is motivational speaker and has served as the resource person for more than 200 motivation programs. So really, it's a great achievements, sir. He has conducted training programs on positive thinking, time management, memory techniques, and stress management. He is a proud member of following academics, forms, and social organizations, member of board of studies and examiner in various reputed colleges and universities. He has acted as a chief superintendent for the conduct of university examination. He has served as a question paper setter. He is an external research advisory committee, as an research advisory committee member for GS College of Commerce, Varda, Maharashtra. He is an executive director in Evergreen Research Academy of Erode. Sir is a chief advisor of Cape Research Firm, Nagarkoil. Sir is an secretary of the Indian Accounting Associations, and Sir is an editorial body of peer and review committee of various journals. And Sir is an Indian Academic Research Association, Tiruchi, Indian Association of Social Science Research, president of Swami Vivekananda Sevalayam Erode, vice president and Fulville Trust, Youth Hostels Association of India, Makkal Siddhamani Parva Erode. Yes. His invaluable contributions to the teaching fraternity, students community, society has brought laurels, honors, and awards like Sir is rendered more than service, and then he's achieved enormous amount of teaching fraternity. Is they are really very proud of you, sir, for introducing your chief guest. And then I welcome you, sir, once again. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now, right now, I take over this. Now I hand over the session to Dr. Our resource persons today. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Welcome, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Most respected Madam Principal of Patrician College of Arts and Science, Secretary, Head of the Department, Dr. Sweetie Regina Mary Madam, learned faculty members, and all my dear participant friends, a warm and pleasant afternoon to one and all. At the very outset, I would like to thank the management, principal, head of the department, and the faculty members of the Department of Commerce, SIFT 2, for having given me wonderful opportunity to be the resource person for this one-day online workshop on Upscale the analytical skills through MS Excel. At this juncture, I would like to congratulate and appreciate the organizing team for having organized such a wonderful program for the welfare of the faculty members as well as the students. Today, you know, the significance of research, analysis, and interpretation. It is gaining momentum, particularly for pursuing PhD degree. The value of research is now realized by every faculty member. So in this situation, what are the sources available for the researchers to perform their analysis? You know pretty well we have a lot of statistical software like SPSS and all. But they have emerged or they have originated mainly from the Microsoft Excel. So this could be the foundation for all the statistical softwares. So is there any possibility for performing your analysis in Excel itself? Yes, there is a plenty of opportunity to perform statistical analysis using MS Excel. So in what way we can perform the analysis, how it is useful? For that purpose only this program has been organized. So upscale your analytical skills through MS Excel. Microsoft Excel is really a wonderful platform for us to perform the analysis. And this program is conducted at level 1 because it is helpful for beginners. At the advanced level, we have a lot of analytical tools that can be conducted in the forthcoming programs. So here, you know, how to start the data analysis using Microsoft Excel. See, in the menu bar, you can find this data. If you open the Excel worksheet, in the top row of the menu bar, you can find a lot of menu like file, home, insert, page layout, formulas, then data. So if you click on the data, you can find this data analysis. Data analysis. In some of the systems, it would not be appearing. In that case, we can enable it. Let me tell you how to enable it. Okay. So this is what the gateway we have to enter into so that we can perform the data analysis. Okay. See here, in the Excel, we can perform the data analysis through 3 doors. Number 1, this one, auto sum. Number 2, insert function. If you go to the formulas menu, you can find auto sum, insert function. Likewise, financial tools, logical tools, text, date and time, lookup and reference. Then you can find the statistical formulas. See here, formulas, auto sum, insert function, then formulas, statistical formulas. See here, if you click on to the auto sum, you can find sum, average, count numbers, maximum, minimum, then more functions are there. This insert function can be used if you know the formula. If you know the formula, you have to input the formula manually. So that function can be used for that purpose. Next one, see. Right from auto sum, you can start the data analysis. So what are the things we can do basically? In the case of descriptive statistics, we can compute mean, standard error, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, kurtosis, skewness, range, minimum, maximum, sum, and count. See, all these parameters can be computed by a single stroke. All these values can be computed. Then coefficient of variance, we have to give the formula manually. Okay. Then in the case of inferential statistics, in this session, we are going to discuss about correlation, regression, independent sample state test, paired sample test, and ANOVA. Okay. Now, let us go to the Excel. See, for the purpose of time saving, I have given you the data set. I have collected data of 2 steel companies for 12 years. This data have been collected from a database. See, you can collect the data from Pravas or CMIE or Money Control, invest.com. So many databases are there. Even through the annual reports or a BSE stock exchange website. From that also we can collect the data. When we collect the data, it will look like this only. It will look like this one. See, up to this. This is the data originally collected. You see, Tata Seal, March 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, up to 24. Then here, what are the data available? Equity capital, reserves, borrowing, other liabilities, total liabilities, fixed assets, then capital work in progress, then investments, other assets, and total assets. Okay. This is just for example. So you can collect any data from the annual report. So initially it will be available in this format. But usually we are going to analyze like this. No, we'll be writing years in a single column and each variable in another column like that. So we have to convert into this format. So how to convert this? It is very simple. You see, you select these things. We have selected. You just copy that. You just copy. Okay, I have copied. Then see here, where do you want to paste it? You can put the cursor here. Right click. You can find the paste options, or you can find paste special. If you click the paste special, you can find a lot of options. So how to paste it, right? Or otherwise, you can go for, see here, it is transposed. This option is here. It is transposed. That's all. So everything is pasted here in the column format. Earlier it was in the row, isn't it? See, equity capital was in the row. Now it is pasted in the column. So like that I have pasted. Okay. Then we can change the year because it is in the March 13 like that. So we can change it. For that, we have to go to this and change it as general. That is what the number format. So it should be done for all the rows. Yeah. Now some date numbers are there. You can change it. 2012 to 13. 2013 to 14. 2014 to 15. 2015 to 16. 2016 to 17. 2017 to 2018. 2018 to 19, like that. You have to change it. Then 2020, 21, 21, 22, 22, 23, then 23, 24. Okay, we have done it. Then we want to compute mean, standard deviation, and coefficient of variance. I told you no, we can use different doors, different options. See here, auto sum is there. You can find an icon on the menu bar, auto sum. There is a down arrow. If you click on the down arrow, you can find options like sum, average, count numbers, maximum, minimum, and more functions. Now I want to compute average. So you click on average. See, that column is entirely selected automatically. So you just enter. That's all. If you enter, we have calculated the mean. So you can type like this, mean. Okay. Then we have to compute standard deviation. Again, you put the cursor in this cell and go to this option. See here, the menu is not available. You can go to more functions. See here, most recently used. Then if you go to this, you can find all, financial, date and time, mathematics and trigonometry, statistical, lookup reference, database, text, logical, and so on. Okay, right. As I told you, you can go to this way also. Formulas. Formulas here, the same thing. Recently used, financial, logical, text, date and time, lookup and reference, mathematics and trigonometry. Then you can go for more functions. If you go to more functions, you can find statistical. Then here lot of statistical tools are there. So what we have to do? We have to compute standard deviation. So standard deviation, this one we have to select. So if you select a standard deviation, here the question is you have to select the cells. Okay. If you select the cells and click OK, you can find the value of standard deviation. That is what I have already computed. You see here, I already computed for your reference. See here. So I told you 3 ways in which we can apply the tools and calculate the values. Number 1, go to auto sum and do it. Is it not? So using this, we have computed the average. Okay. Then number 2, I told you, you can go to the more functions, then statistical, then you can select the tools required. So we have done in that way also, right? Now, the other thing what we have to do is, the third one, I told you, third one, you can insert the formula or insert the functions. Okay. For that, you need not go there. You just put equal symbol. You just put equal symbol. Whatever formula you want to do or apply, before that you have to put the equal to. Okay. Now we have to compute the coefficient of variance, coefficient of variation. What do you mean by coefficient of variation? You can use the manual formula only when you know the formula. A coefficient of variation can be computed by using the formula standard deviation divided by mean into 100. Standard deviation divided by mean into 100. Okay. See here, there are 2 decimals here, but here 4 decimals. So it can be reduced. There are 2 icons here. This one is meant for increasing the decimal, and this one is meant for decreasing the decimal. See here, 4 decimals are there. If you click on that, you can find the decimal is reduced to 2. Okay. Now we have to compute the coefficient of variation. I told you no. What is the formula? Standard deviation by mean into 100. Okay. So first you put equal to. Then you select the standard deviation. Then into 100. Then divided by. Then you select the mean. That's all. Now we got the coefficient of variation. So instead of computing the coefficient of variation manually, it is now simply calculated by applying the formula in the particular cell. So the formula is coefficient of variation is equal to standard deviation divided by mean. Let me repeat, standard deviation. So here we put equal to, then standard deviation into 100 divided by mean. That's all. If you look at the formula bar, you can see here equal to, then standard deviation cell reference, then asterisk mark, that is meant for into 100. We have to key in the 100 manually, then slash is meant for division, then the cell reference of mean. That's all. If you click enter, you can get the coefficient of variation. That's all. Now you select all these things. You can drag it by putting the cursor in the bottom, right bottom. That's all. Suppose if 2 decimals are required, that's all. Very simple. You see, mean, standard deviation, coefficient of variation. Simply by dragging, we have calculated mean, standard deviation and coefficient of variation for all the variables like equity capital, reserves, borrowing, other liabilities, total liabilities, fixed assets, then capital work in progress, investments, other assets, and total assets. Okay. So we have computed 3 values. Number 1, mean. Number 2, standard deviation. And number 3, coefficient of variation. Similarly, for second company, I have already computed. Second one, JSW Steel. Right. Suppose if you are comparing these 2 companies, we are comparing these 2 companies. Look at here. Capital, equity capital of Tata Steel, 1098.75 crores. JSW, 300.42 crores. Then reserves and surplus, 81,299 crores for Tata Steel. For JSW, 38,301.92 crores. Like that, we can compare. Sir, why mean is computed? Why coefficient of variation is computed? Mean is to be checked for comparison of the magnitude, that is of the value. See, which has more capital, just like that we can see the average capital, average equity capital of Tata Steel and average equity capital of this JSW. So simply by looking at the mean value, we can say the capital of Tata Steel is greater than the equity capital of JSW. Like that, we can interpret the results. Okay. Then standard deviation is computed to know the variation, to what extent each value, each individual value is varied within the standard levels. See here, we can say the individual values are there, no, 1249, 1222, 1222, 1199, like that, no. So here you can see that normally most of the values will be mean plus or minus standard deviation. Mean plus or minus standard deviation. That means, see, mean value is 1098, 1098.75. Okay. Then the standard deviation value is 117.28. Okay. Suppose if you want to know the upper limit and lower limit. So here I told you, no, you can use the formula, this one, and we start with this, then plus, then this one. So this is the upper limit. Okay. So equal to, or you can use sum, this one, comma, this one, then close it. Yeah. This is the upper limit. Then for lower limit, to equal to this one minus this one. So 981. 981 is the lower limit. This one is upper limit. And this one is lower limit. See, most of these values will be between these two. Only in one or two exceptional cases, it will be beyond this. But maximum, it will be within these two limits. So that is called standard deviation. Okay. But standard deviation is calculated as an intermediary value for computing this coefficient of variation. So normally with the standard deviation, we are not interpreting the results. Okay. So we are interpreting the results with the help of mean and coefficient of variation. What is coefficient of variation and why it is computed? You see, coefficient of variation is computed to know the consistency of the values. To know the consistency of the values. So we are comparing the two companies, no? Tata Steel and JSW. While discussing about the mean, I told you which is greater. Tata Steel companies mean equity capital or average equity capital is higher than the average capital of JSW. So obviously, Tata Steel is the bigger company, we know, right? Now, during the last 12 years, from 2013 to 2024, you see here the variation, 971, 971, 971, 971, 971, 1146, 1146, like that. Finally, it is ended with 1249. Look at here. 284, 303, 303, 301, 301, 301, 302, 301, 301, 302, 301. See, it is equity capital, so there will not be any greater variation. Okay. See here, what is the coefficient of variation? 1.77%. These are all values, rupees in crores. Mean and standard deviations are rupees in crores. Coefficient of variation is in percentage, because the formula is standard deviation by mean into 100. So it is in the form of percentage. I told you, no, the consistency. Consistency is where this CV is less. If the CV is more, the data is inconsistent, or the performance is inconsistent with reference to that particular variable. Look at here. The CV of JSW of equity capital is 1.77%. Whereas in the case of Tata Steel, it is 10.67%. That means the consistency, when we compare the consistency, JSW has consistent performance relating to equity capital, whereas in this case, it is inconsistent. It is inconsistent. Look at the other one, reserves, 81 crore mean, here 38 crore. Again, reserves, regarding the reserves, the performance of Tata Steel is better when compared with the performance of JSW. Now look at the consistency. CV, 40.4%. Here, 50.4%. That means here the performance of Tata Steel is better. Unlike in the previous one, equity capital, performance of JSW was better. Now performance of Tata Steel is better. Look at the other one, borrowing. Here 19.25. Here it is 32.92. 19.25. Here 32.92. Again, the performance of Tata Steel is better than the JSW. Like that we can compare. So for these purposes, we compute mean, standard deviation and coefficient of variation. Okay. Now, I told you, no, using the formulas, we can compute all these things. See here, mean, standard error, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, kurtosis, skewness, range, minimum, maximum, sum, and count. See here also you can use this auto sum for computing the minimum, right? So minimum, select mean. See here, it is in default selected all the items in this column, but we have to select only the 12 years data. So enter. This is the minimum. Then maximum. Again go to this one. Maximum. Again only the data 11 to 12 years. Look at here. Minimum value, maximum value. So you can say the range. Range is the difference between maximum and minimum. Okay. See here. Look at here. Minimum 971. Maximum 1249. Okay. Now how to compute all these things? Right. Here. Let us calculate the mean, standard error, median, mode, standard deviation, sample variance, kurtosis, skewness, range, minimum, maximum, sum, and count. Count means number of items, number of years. Okay, right. Now you go to data. use data analysis. You can see here, ANOVA single factor, ANOVA two factor with replication, ANOVA two factor without replication, correlation, covariance, descriptive statistics. Yes, you want descriptive statistics. Okay. Now input cells are asked. Suppose if you want to this one, see here, this will take only the quantities, not the characters. So you have to select these items only. Suppose if you want to know the heading, it is in characters, not in numbers. So like this, I show you. First, I have selected including the heading. Okay. Now I want to compute the summary statistics. Summary statistics is to be selected. Then we have to define the output range. Output range, see before that, see, let me do it once again. Descriptive statistics, I have given the input range. See here, output range. I have to select any cell reference. Then only it will be displaying the results in that particular cell reference. See, I told you no, this column heading will not be considered because it is in characteristics. If I click OK, no result will be displayed. Error is showing. Input range contains non-numeric data. Then what we have to do, you just select labels in first row. Labels in first row, I have selected. Now I click OK. Yeah, we have got the results. See all these things. The same, because I already done it for this data. Similarly, suppose if you want to calculate the summary statistics for the other variable, suppose if you want to calculate this for reserves and surplus, again you have to give the cell reference. Click OK. We have got it. Okay. So like this, we can compute all these things, and you can use whatever you want. Whatever you want to interpret, you can select that. Here also you can make it to two decimals. Okay, that's all. Yeah, like that you can do. So mean, standard error, median, mode, whatever you want. You can get all the values by a single stroke. Okay. Oh, similarly for the these information are relating to the data about profit and loss. Suppose if you want to calculate any ratio, see here, total assets, I have brought it from this one, total assets value 101,877. That one I have brought here. Then net profit is here. You can see net profit is here. I want to calculate return on assets. I want to calculate return on assets. So how to calculate return on assets? Net profit divided by total assets into 100. So for that, net profit would be equal to then here net profit into 100, then divided by total assets. You have got. So 4.97%. This is also percent. See here, you know pretty well. One value is computed. Either you can drag it, okay, or you can double click. See, by putting the cursor in the bottom, you can double click and get the values. So return on assets, return on capital employed, return on shareholders net worth, operating profit ratio, any ratio can be calculated like this. So mean, standard deviation and a coefficient of variation, the same thing, I have done it. So very simple, is it not? Okay. Then we'll go to the inferential statistics, because already we have discussed about the mean, standard error, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, kurtosis, skewness, range, minimum, maximum, sum, count, and coefficient of variation. Now look at here. You can have one more thing, that is CAGR, compounded annual growth rate. Compounded annual growth rate. For that also we have a formula. I have converted the formula into the Excel format. So how to calculate CAGR using the Excel? You can write down the formula. First equal to, then left bracket, then enter power, again left bracket, then last value, then divided by first value, then comma, then comma. For how many years we have taken the data? We have taken data for 12 years, 2013 to 2024. So 12. Here we have to enter the power value, that is 1 by n minus 1. 1 by n minus 1. N means number of years. How many years we have taken? 12 years. So 12 minus 1 means 11. So here you enter 1 by 11. Close the bracket. Then minus 1. Again close the bracket. Then into 100. Into 100. Okay, you just enter. You have got the value. It is very simple. You need not worry about this, right? Let me repeat the formula once again, right? Equal to left bracket. Dear friends, you can note down power. Once again left bracket. Last value divided by first value, then comma 1/11. Suppose if you have taken data for 10 years, 1/9, or 15 years means 1/14. Then close the bracket. -1. Again, right bracket. Then into. Then 100. That's all. You can drag it. That's all. This is what called compounded annual growth rate. Mean is a parameter for determining the value. Coefficient of variation is the parameter to determine the consistency. CAGR is the parameter to determine the growth. How far the sales have grown. See here, the same thing. I just copy and paste. See here, 12.93. Look at the value. Sales made by Tata Steel, 73,480 crores. Here 73,350 crores. So which is greater? Tata Steel is greater. So the performance of Tata Steel is better than JSW. Okay. Regarding the consistency, CV of JSW 48.97. CV of Tata Steel 52.48. So which is better? JSW is better regarding the consistency in performance, because you see 35, 45, 46, 36, 52, 66. So it is either increasing or decreasing gradually. But here you see from 84, it is suddenly moved on to 129. Is it not? So that is the issue. See here, 70 fallen to 60 all of a sudden. So here it is not like that. It is gradually going. Here also there is a greater difference. There 2022, 70 to 1,18,000. Anyhow, there is a mean difference. Here 48.97, here 52.48. So the consistency is more in the case of JSW. Right. Then the growth. Growth, see, it is grown from 38 to 140, 35 to 135. So that is measured in terms of CAGR. It is 12.60, it is 12.93. Once again, the performance of JSW is better with regard to growth of sales. This one is for sales. This one is for consistency of sales. This one is for growth of sales. So for sales, Tata Steel performance is better. Consistency, JSW better. Growth, JSW better. That's all. That's why these three parameters are calculated. Standard deviation is calculated for mainly for computing the CV, because CV is based on standard deviation and mean. So we compute the standard deviation, but there is no need for interpretation of this standard deviation. That's all. Now, see here, so this one is balance sheet items. This one is profit and loss account items. And this one is the ratios items. So here, debtors days, inventory days, days payable, cash conversion cycle, working capital days, all are given in period. So then ROCE percentage itself is given. As usual, I have transposed the values here for both the companies. Then we come to the inferential statistics. Correlation, regression, independent sample state test, paired sample state test, and ANOVA. Okay. First one, correlation. Regarding the correlation, you see, we are comparing two variables. We are comparing two variables. If the variables move in the same direction, we say that it is positively correlated. When the variables move in the opposite directions, we say that the variables are negatively correlated. By using the correlation, we can get the R value, R, that is coefficient of correlation. This coefficient of correlation is computed to determine the degree of relationship between two variables. For example, sales and net profit. Generally, we know pretty well if sales figures are going up, net profit will also go up. If sales is reduced, profit will also be reduced. So they are moving in the same direction. At the time of increase also, both are increasing. Sales increases, profit also increases. Sales decreases, profit also decreases. Is it not? So both are moving in the same direction. But when we compare expenses and profit, if expenses increase, profit will decrease. If expenses decrease, profit will increase. So they move in the opposite direction. In that case, it is said to be negative correlation. So here it is said to be positive correlation. Okay. Now how to compute the correlation coefficient? I take net profit and sales of two companies. Okay. You go to data analysis, data analysis, correlation. If you click correlation, you can find like this, input range. We are comparing two variables, but here only one range is given. That means you have to understand, you should enter the variables in adjacent columns. Whether you are comparing two variables, three variables, or more variables, that is immaterial. The thing is, you have to enter the data in adjacent cells. See here, we have typed sales and net profit of Tata Steel in two adjacent cells. Sales one cell, in the next cell itself, we have entered the net profit. In that way only, we have to enter the data to compute the correlation. Now I select input range. Both the columns I have selected. Heading in the first row, non-numeric data, that is also selected. So without forgetting, we have to select rows, labels in the first row. Then here, output range is disabled. If you click this, it will be enabled. Okay. If you put the cursor here, it will be blinking. Then you have to select any cell reference. Then click OK. Yeah, we have got it. See, it will be given in a matrix like this. Sales to sales, always 1. Net profit to net profit, always 1. Sales to net profit. It will be between -1 and +1, always. So here it is 0.61. 0.61 means 61.99%. 6199 means 61.99% positive. So there is a positive correlation between sales and net profit of Tata Steel Company to the extent of 61.99%. That's all. Similarly, I am going to calculate, see here, JSW, sales and net profit. Go to data analysis, correlation. Now the input range is this one, output range is this one. I've got the results. 69.124%. 69.124%. Here also it is positive correlation. The sales and net profit of Tata Steel are positively correlated to the extent of 61.99%. Here, in the case of JSW, sales and net profit are positively correlated to the extent of 69.1%. Earlier it was 61.9%. Now it is 69.1%. That's it. See here, I told you the coefficient of correlation should always be between -1 and +1. With that, you can understand what you have done is correct or not. Okay. If it is between -1 and 0, we say that it is negatively correlated. If it is between 0 and +1, we say that it is positively correlated. We can rank this or grade this like to what degree they are correlated. If it is between 0 and 0.25, if it is between 0 and 0.25, we say that there is a very low degree of correlation. 0 to 0.25 means 0 to 0.25 means very low degree of correlation. Then 0.25 to 0.5 means low degree of correlation. 0.5 to 0.75 means moderate degree of correlation. 0.75 to 0.9 means high degree of correlation. 0.9 to 0.99 means very high degree of correlation. If it is 1, we say that it is perfectly correlated. Okay. So 0 to 0.25, very low. Then 0.25 to 0.5, low. 0.5 to 0.75, moderate. 0.75 to 0.9, high. Then 0.5 to, 0.9 to 0.99. If it is 1, then we can say that it is perfectly correlated. That's all. So here, this is 0.61. So it comes in this one, in this region, that is moderately correlated. Sales and net profit of Tata Steel are positively and moderately correlated. Similarly, for this one, JSW also, sales and net profit are and moderately correlated. That's all. So this is what Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. This is simple correlation. We have multiple correlation. In that case, we can have more variables, more than 2 variables. That will be called multiple correlation. Suppose I am bringing operating profit. Okay. Suppose I want to calculate the correlation look at here. Sales to sales 1, net profit to net profit 1, operating profit to operating net profit 1. Okay. See here, 69.12 sales to net profit that we have already discussed. 69.12. This is for, I think, JSW. Okay. Then net profit to operating profit. Sales to operating profit 78.74%. See, it is in this region. So sales and operating profit are highly correlated. Then I come to compare net profit and operating profit. 95.8%. That comes in this region. So there is a very high degree of correlation. There is a very high degree of correlation. Like this, we have to do this. Okay. So correlation between two or more variables. This is just for understanding. I have shown this here. Okay. Right. Then we'll move on to the regression. The purpose of correlation and regression are same. The purpose is same. But why two different tools are used? Okay. See here. In this case, we have compared the two variables and we have got the results. Okay. But the result is in the form of percentage only, not the exact value. We couldn't find out the exact value. See, two variables are here. Suppose the value of one variable is known, and what is the unknown value of another variable? That cannot be computed here. By using correlation, we can check the degree of relationship only, whether it is positive or negative, very low, low, moderate, high, and very high. That's all we can check. But what is the exact value of another variable if the value of one variable is given? For that purpose, we are going for the next tool called regression. Okay. See here, straight away I have used multiple regression. You can go for simple regression also. When two variables are compared, it is said to be simple regression. If more than two variables are compared, it is said to be multiple regression. Okay. Here you know regression equation of y on x. Y equal to ax plus b. Y equal to ax plus b for simple regression. For multiple regression, y equal to a1x1 plus a2x2 plus a3x3, then up to an(xn). So y is a dependent variable and x is the independent variable. Even in the case of multiple regression, we have to understand that there is only one dependent variable, but any number of independent variables. Only one dependent variable and any number of independent variables. In this example, I have taken debtor days, inventory days, days payable, cash conversion cycle, and working capital as the independent variables. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 variables are taken as independent variables. Then ROCE is taken as dependent variable. See here, regression is applied to examine which of these 5 independent variables has influenced the dependent variable the most. For that purpose, we are going for multiple regression. Again, data analysis, then go to regression. See, in the case of correlation, we saw that input range was only one. But here you will be seeing two ranges, input ranges, input Y range and input X range. In the input Y range, you have to enter only one column. In the output range, input X range, you can select all. Then labels. Then go to output range. Then only this cell reference is enabled. Then you can select any cell reference. Then click OK. You have got the results. The same result. I have reduced the decimals into 3. Look at here. This is the regression statistics. Multiple R. First value. R square. Second value. That is important. In the case of multiple regression, R square is called coefficient of determination. Coefficient of determination, that is the most important value. In the case of correlation, we checked the coefficient of correlation. Here it is coefficient of determination. What is the dependent variable here? ROCE is the dependent variable. There are 5 independent variables. We do not know whether these 5 only could be the independent variables or not. There may be some other variables that could influence the ROCE. Okay. But we are comparing the working capital and profitability. Impact of working capital on profitability. For that purpose, we have taken 5 variables as independent variables that is related to working capital, and 1 variable, that is ROCE, as the dependent variable that refers to profitability ratio. Here, R square value is 0.443. That means all these 5 independent variables together have influenced the ROCE to the extent of 44.3%. 44.3%. That means there may be some other variables that could influence the ROCE to the extent of 55.7%. So what variables we have selected can influence only up to 44.3% of ROCE. Then here itself an ANOVA is performed and the results are furnished. Look at here. This is the p-value. What is the p-value here? 0.510. It is greater than 0.05. It is greater than 0.05. If it is greater than 0.05, the null hypothesis should be accepted. What is the null hypothesis here? There is no significant influence of independent variables on dependent variable. Here, these 5 independent variables together can make no significant influence on ROC because p-value is greater than 5. If suppose it is less than 0.05, just for example, it is 0.03, then we can say these 5 independent variables together have made impact on ROCE. Okay. But here it is not. Then come to the final results. In this table, this coefficient is important. Then t value and p value. The first one is intercept. What is the regression equation formula I told you now? Y equal to A plus A plus B1x1 plus B2x2 plus B3x3 plus B4x4 up to Bnxn. Okay. Here A is constant. A is constant. B1, B2, B3, B4, B5 are coefficients of x1, x2, x3, x4, and x5 respectively. See here, A is 0.357. B1 is this, B2 is this, B3 is this, B4 is this, B5 is this. So Y equal to 0.357 minus 0.025x1 minus 0.02x2 plus 0.02x3 plus 0.018x4 plus 0.003x5. Okay. It means debtor days and inventory days have affected the ROCE negatively. Debtor days and inventory days have affected the ROCE negatively. Days payable, conversion cycle, cash conversion cycle CCC, and working capital days, they have affected the ROCE positively. Among these positively influencing factors, the major impact is made by days payable because its coefficient is greater than the other two coefficients. So days payable, out of these 5 variables, days payable alone has positively influenced the ROCE. That means if days payable increases, ROCE will also increase. But as far as the days, that means debtors days and inventory days, if they increase, profit will be decreased. That is, ROCE will be decreased. Obviously, because what do you mean by debtor days? Credit period allowed 2 debtors. Credit period allowed 2 debtors. If you allow more days, what will happen? The collection mechanism will become weaker. And there is a greater possibility for bad debts. So the debtor days must be kept as minimum as possible. If it increases, it will affect the profit. It is proved here. It is proved in this case. If the debtor days increases, it negatively affects the ROCE. So if it is increasing, ROCE will be decreasing. That is why the coefficient is minus 0.025. Similarly, inventory days. That will also make a negative impact on ROCE. Then come to the P value. Look at here. All are greater than 0.05. Even though we discussed that debtors days and inventory days are negatively influencing days payable, cash conversion cycle, and working capital days are positively influencing the ROCE, that influence made by all these variables is not at all significant, because all the p-values are greater than 0.05. So we need not bother. We need not bother about the changes in the debtor days, inventory days, days payable, CCC, and working capital days, because whatever impact made by these variables on ROCE is insignificant. So this will not make sense on the ROCE. That's all. So this is called regression. Then we go to next one, independent samples t-test. See here, here also we are comparing 2 variables. Here, you know, it is just like a correlation. No? There also we compared 2 variables. Here also we are comparing 2 variables. But why 2 tools are there? Here in this case, there must be 1-to-1 pair. There must be 1-to-1 pair. But here it is not required. In the example, we have taken equal number of items, but it is need not be that. So here we are comparing the operating profit of Tata Steel and operating profit of JSW. Okay. Suppose, just for example, I told you know what is the difference between the the previous one, correlation and the t-test. Look at here. There are 12 data relating to operating profit of Tata Steel, but only 10 years data are available for operating profit of JSW. In that case also we can compare. But correlation cannot be applied for this type of data. Correlation means these data must be equal number of items. Here, unequal, maybe equal or unequal. Go to data analysis. Then t-test for unequal variances. Unequal, we are assuming that the variances are unequal. Range 1, then range 2. Labels, output range. The cursor here. Then OK. See here. Okay. Look at here. Number of observations 12 for Tata Steel and number of observations for JSW 10. Earlier when I have taken 12 for both of the cases, this is the value. So mean for both of the cases, it will be equal to the same what we have computed earlier. See mean of operating profit. See here, it is 20,055 and 14,634, right? 20,055 and 14,634. Then variance, number of items. Then come to this one. Here, t value is 1.304. Then p value, one tail, p value, two tail. Normally we take two tail only. See here it is, t value is 2.101. P value for two tail is 0.209. In this case, 2.1, the same thing, but the p value is 0.36. See the mean and variance. Based on the mean, we can say it is greater, it is lower. But here, based on 10 years value, you can look at this. Now the mean is greater, I mean higher than the 12 years data. Anyhow, it is lesser than the mean operating profit of Tata Steel. In both of the cases, in both the calculations, p value is greater than 0.05. That means here also the null hypothesis is accepted. So there is no significant difference between here. There is no significant difference between operating profit of Tata Steel and JSW. Earlier, significant relationship we have tested. In the t-test, we are checking the significant difference. Okay. So this is what called independent samples t-test. Then in the t-test also, t-test itself, one more type of test called paired samples t-test. Paired samples t-test. Here, instead of comparing two companies' data, we are comparing the data of a single company for two different periods. For example, here 12 years data are given. So let us divide it into first half and the second half. Look at here. These values are entered in the first half and these values are entered in the second half. During the first period, during the study period, whether the performance of the Tata Steel Company is better in the first half or second half. Okay. For this purpose, we are applying paired sample street test. For this also go to data analysis. Look at here, paired two sample for mains. So first one, then second one, labels, output range, cursor here, place it, you can get the results. Look at here, the mean performance of the first half, 0.258. Here it is 0.280. See, we have taken OPM percentage. Okay, so 25.8%. Here 28%. So the company's performance with reference to operating profit has increased in the second half of the study period. Okay. Whether that increase or decrease is significant or not, for that we are checking the p-value. P-value is 0.639. 0.639 greater than 0.05. Null hypothesis accepted. So there is no significant difference. There is no significant improvement in the performance in the second half than the first half. Still there is an improvement. Undoubtedly, there is an improvement. But that improvement is not significant. Okay. So this is about paired sample street test. Then we will go for ANOVA. See here. Here also, in the case of independent T samples, we have compared two items, two variables. Here we are comparing more variables. Okay. So one dependent variable, more independent variables. Here profit before tax is considered as dependent variable. Sales, expenses, other income, interest, and depreciation. They are called, or they are considered as independent variables. So we will go for ANOVA. Data analysis, ANOVA single factor. See here, input range. We have selected all. Then, sorry, we have to select all. Then labels in first row, output. See here. Okay. We have got it. See here, sales, expenses, other income, interest, depreciation, profit. So for each of them, some average variance are calculated. So here also we have got the ANOVA result. This is the ANOVA result between groups and within groups. So here p value is 0.000. P value is 0.000. So it is less than 0.01. It is less than 0.01. If it is less than 0.01, we can say that it is significant at 1%. It is significant at 1%. So we say that these variables are significantly related at 1%. Significantly related at 1%. So here we can say either significant relationship, or otherwise we can say there is a significant variation. There is a significant variation among the variables. Like that we can see. Then finally, we are moving on to chi-square test. For chi-square test, we want observed variables and expected variables. We want observed variables and expected variables. See here, a training program was conducted to improve the productivity of employees in a company. Some of the employees have attended, some of the employees have not attended. The productivity is increased in case of certain employees and not increased. So attended, not attended, increased, not increased. So this one is attended and increased or improved. Here not attended, even though not attended, productivity is improved. Here attended but not improved. Here attended, not attended, not improved. These are the observed frequencies. We have collected data. Based on that, we have counted. So here it is like this. Observed. From these observed frequencies, we have to calculate expected frequencies. So we have to calculate the expected frequencies. For that, we have to find out the totals. We have to find out the totals. So for this, as I told you now, you can use AutoSum option. You can just click it and you can get the AutoSum. Similarly, see here, for row or column, you can calculate the AutoSum. That's all. Now, for calculating the expected frequency, you should know the formula. For each and every item, you have to calculate the expected frequency. The formula is row total into column total divided by grand total. For this one, this is the row total. And this is the column total. This is the grand total. 190 is the grand total. So for computing this, you see what is the row total? 96. What is the column total? 85. So 96 into 85 divided by what is the grand total? 190. So I have entered and I have got this value. So here equal to row total 96 into column total 85 divided by grand total 100. Similarly, for each and every frequency, we have computed. We have computed the expected frequency for all the observed frequencies. Now we will go to the chi-square test data. See here, we have to go to this one, formulas. Recently used, I have used a chi-square test, means it will be displayed here. If I have not used, you have to go for more functions, statistical. Then you can see here, statistical chi-square test. See here, chi-square test. So here actual range and expected range. So this is the actual range and this is the expected range. Sorry. I have got this. Okay. So here also we have got the p-value of 0, 0, 0. So there is a significant difference. So there is a significant association, or the training has made a significant impact on the productivity. The training has made a significant impact on the productivity. So that is what the inference we can write from this result. In this way, we can apply several tools in MS Excel. I hope you would have understood better. Right from the, descriptive statistics to inferential statistics. Thank you very much. I thank all the participants for your patient listening, and I thank the organizers for having given me wonderful opportunity. Thank you very much. Now it's open to you. If you have any queries, you can ask now.
Participants, you can unmute yourself.
Lokpa,
No doubts.
Lokpa Tamang, are you there? Okay.
Hello, sir. Yes, sir, I'm here.
How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Fine, fine. How about the session?
Sir, it was very good. Very nice session. Thank you, sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Do you have any queries?
Thank you, sir.
No queries.
Not yet, as of now. No, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Any other participants? If you don't have any queries, you can give the feedback also.
Yes, sir.
Unmute your mic and give the feedback. So that Sweetie Madam will be very happy if you are giving any good feedback.
Yes. Yes, sir. So, okay.
No doubt at all.
I think they will share their feedback in the feedback link. We have
Okay,
shared.
okay, okay. Mhm.
Okay. Shall we close the session, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
If
yes,
no
sir.
queries,
Thank
we
you, sir.
can find
Oh,
the session.
okay.
Thank you very much.
Wait. Yes, sir.
One more feedback is there.
Photo.
Sir,
Yeah.
basically I belong to science stream. After attending the workshop, I got the courage to do it. Very good. Jelaine Ronnie. Thank you, madam. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, madam. We shall
Okay,
wind
sir.
up.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Participants, as we conclude this highly informative workshop on upscale your analytical skills through MS Excel, I extend our deepest gratitude to Dr. Kumareshan sir, Professor and Director, School of Commerce, KSR College of Arts and Science for Women, for his outstanding lecture. His motivation and selfless guidance have been pivotal in the success of this program, and his support without seeking any returns is deeply appreciated. Sir, your expertise and in-depth knowledge of MS Excel have provided us with invaluable insights into enhancing our analytical skills. Your clear explanations, practical examples, and hands-on approach have greatly enriched our understanding and proficiency in using MS Excel for data analysis. I would also like to extend special thanks to our brother, brother Naveen Francis, Director and Secretary, Dr. Fatima Vasant, our academic director, Dr. Arokemeri Geeta Rufus, our principal, and Dr. Anandapriya, our vice principal, for their unwavering support and guidance. Additionally, I heartfelt thanks to all the dedicated faculty members who have contributed to organizing and facilitating this workshop. Last but not least, I extend my gratitude to all the participants for active engagement and enthusiasm throughout this workshop. Your participation has been invaluable, and we look forward to continue this journey of learning and grow together. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Shall I leave, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Thank you.
sir. Thank you, sir.